the reason why I'm going to be doing recording is that it's easier for you to go back, learn on your own. You understand the idea? Okay, so you can learn on your own and make references. So part of what you're going to be learning also would require technical support. That is what I mean is part of your payment require technical support. Perhaps when you are doing something on your own and you feel like I'm stuck, you can give a chat, you can call me, I can kindly come and support you technically. So that we might have to go off the video now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'll be sharing my screen for you to learn. So there's no point. You have seen enough of our faces, so
No problem.
Mhm.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah. Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so like I said, this is a module for
Which one, I'm sorry, which one is AZ800 T00A? I thought it was 700 we're going to still do.
You want to ask the question?
Yes, I was saying which one is this? Which one is AZ800? What is this?
Don't worry about the code. This is what you want to learn. This is what you want to learn. You want to be you want to learn Windows Server, right?
Yes, so
Yeah. So
and
these are
networking, Azure networking.
and
What
networking.
is
So the networking own is AZ700. So, but you need to first of all understand this one first, and then we now go into. Do you understand? So that's why your session will be recorded, and then I'll send you the link where you can watch again and again.
Okay.
You understand? So welcome to Windows Server Hybrid Core. So the idea is this, that you can work this knowledge will help you to work with on-prem machines and then cloud machine. Do you know what I mean by on-prem machine?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to be doing a lot of scenario. So always learn to drag me back and ask questions. Okay, so for example, you want to start a company. So, okay, give it a name. Give your company a name.
Naya and Associates.
Naya and Associates.
Yes.
Okay. Can we give it a sweet name?
Moko Industries.
Is that?
Moko Industries.
It's Moko Industry. What's going on?
That's
All right, so this. Okay. All right. So let's just stick with Naya Industries. Let's say Naya Industries. Okay, good. Okay, so because it is Naya, you have staffs, right? And then
yes.
you are producing something. Let's say it's a manufacturing company, right? And
Yes.
then you will have infrastructures. Your infrastructures will be like your computers. Your infrastructure will be like so when it is 9 o'clock, we will go for 15 minutes break, okay?
Okay.
So that I will not bombard you with too much information. Mhm.
Okay.
So like I said, you have a complaint. So let's say somebody has given you like $2 million. Like, man, I don't hit them. Let me start my complaint. So you want to hire a lot of people. Then you also want to rent an office, right? And
Yes.
then you want to buy furnitures and all of those. So all those furnitures are infrastructures. Then you also want your work to be compliant with technology. So you buy computers, right?
Yes.
So you can decide to buy laptops, you can decide to buy desktops, but something must control all the desktops and laptops you have bought, right? You can also
Yes.
decide to buy your microphone, you can decide to buy mobile phones, devices for your staffs.
For
Okay,
instance.
so that central computer that controls everything is what we call server. Okay,
Okay. Yes.
is what we call server. All right, so your server is in different places.
Okay.
Your server can be a software and it can also be a an hardware component. So let me go to a browser and say go to a browser and say server.
I was just taking few classes. Few, few.
What do you say?
Okay. No, not you, sir.
Okay, so please, I just want us to concentrate. So this is a physical server. Did you see the way they look like?
Yes, I've seen it before.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I just want us to be on the same page. You
Okay.
understand? So now these are standalone server. They are called standalone. They are called standalone. They are called standalone. Then you can also have what we call you can also have what we have a rack server. So your rack server, see this one look like cupboard. Look at it, like wardrobe.
Yes.
So you have all your servers slotted inside it. Can you see these components?
Yes.
So each of these is the one you are seeing here. They look like wardrobe.
Yeah.
So this line, this line
Yes.
they're called RAID server. RAID,
Raid.
yes, RAID, RAID.
RAID. Okay.
Yes, RAID server. So all these RAID server is slotted inside this cabinet. You know, this cabinet is taller than you are. Look at this lady. You can see that the
Mm.
cabinet is taller than she is. So
Yes.
they slot it in. So when you have all your RAID slotted into this cabinet, it's called rack server. I hope you are taking notes.
Rack server. Yes.
Yes, your rack, RACK. It's called rack server. Okay.
Which one? Sorry, is it when the servers are stuck into this cabin like wardrobe? We call it a rack server.
Ask your question again.
It, sorry, what you say is a rack server? If the servers are stuck into this wardrobe, like
Look at this. Can you see this?
yes,
This thing here. This image that my cursor is on.
mm, yeah,
Can you see image? This image here now.
I can see it.
Yes, this is your RAID server. Okay.
Okay,
So your RAID, this one is slotted inside here. So you can see you have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost like 10 to 12 of this.
that's it. Well, yeah.
So this cabinet, this one that look like a cabinet is called, when you have your RAID inside it, it's called rack server.
Okay,
Do you get it now?
yes,
So when you have all your rack stacked together like this,
together
it's called data center.
data center.
So are we
So
good?
all these ones are types of server or what?
Yes, you can say type of server. You can say how the scalability of it, how to scale it, how to scale them. You know, this one is
How to,
standalone. In a small business like a 10-man business, 20-man business, this is the type of server they will use. You understand?
yeah,
But in a big business like MTN, they will
yeah,
use, you know, this is your RAID. They will use
yes,
your RAID, like I said, and they will key in your RAID like into your rack like
into the
this,
rack.
Abby. And then all your rack like this are arranged like this into data center.
Yes,
Mhm. So all the networking that you are shouting about, you can see the way they are networked together at the back.
yes,
Can you see now?
yes.
Can you see the way? Can you see how they are networked together?
Yeah. All
So
these are wires.
they are not wires. So they are
What are they?
your they are your network cables.
Network cables.
Have you seen a network cable before?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah,
RJ45 cables.
exactly. RJ45 jack. Exactly. So
Okay.
so when you have this information in your head, yeah. That is when
Yeah.
that's why I'm taking you through this image, so that when I'm talking, you know what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you have seen your physical component of a server. Okay. But there's another server called software server. Are you
So
getting the
another
idea?
type of server or another category of server.
Listen. When I say server now, you can see server, Abi. I've explained to you what a server is. So you can have your
Yeah.
storage server. So all of this can serve as a storage server. All of this can serve as that's the storage means you want to store something inside them, right?
Yes.
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 What can you store? You can store your image, you can store your videos, you can store your bank
Information.
transactions, all sort of information. So this is the backbone of your internet. Okay. You know, your internet
Yes.
is your information moving up and down, right?
Yes.
So inside this physical thing, you know, it's a physical component.
Yes.
Inside this physical component, there is a software that runs on it.
Okay.
That software is also called server.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you are
Okay.
not confused. Hmm?
So it's software that runs inside the physical component server is also a server.
Yes.
Okay.
So that one is called OS server or server OS.
Server OS.
So what's the meaning of OS?
Operating system.
Exactly. So now look at this image I'm bringing up. So of course, you know what these are, right? What are these?
Yes.
What are these?
The RAID
Good. So what are these?
is the rack.
Good. So everything here, you can say is a data center, right?
Yes.
Or a server room, Abi, if it's a small
Like
company.
the collection of data
Uh-huh.
or RAIDs.
No,
Yes.
no collection of your racks.
Racks. Sorry.
Yes. Mhm. Now, what else can you see here?
A computer,
So what's the
or
computer
should I
doing there?
say,
That's a computer now.
it's going a server. I think the server software OS, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
to
You're on the
control
right
it.
track. Clap for yourself. Why? What are you even doing in this class, sef? Are you not supposed to be teaching me, sef? You're supposed to be
I just
teaching.
know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Mr. Amos is always saying Linux, Linux. I'm like, what's Linux?
Be
I know
calming
it's
down.
OS.
Don't abuse
It's
my
something I
oga.
want to use to control it.
If you
But at
abuse
least I
my
know the
oga,
things about
I
the
will charge you
parts.
more. Hmm.
All
Don't
right,
abuse
sir,
my oga.
carry on.
Okay, good. So now when we talk of server OS, now you know where it resides, Abi.
Yes.
So the server
Yes.
OS is loaded on this computer so as to control everything here, right?
Yes.
The server OS can also be loaded on them, on these ones too. But this one will be
Okay.
like a channel into them.
Okay.
Are you getting the idea?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now there are two types of server majorly. Server OS rather. Two types of server OS majorly. I hope you
Okay.
are right. Number one,
Yes.
your Linux server, your Linux server.
Okay.
Then number two, your Windows server, owned by Microsoft.
Yeah. Linux is owned by
Well, it's not owned by anybody. It's an open
anybody.
source.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
So let me show you how your Windows server looks like. This is just the package. This is like when you buy software. So
Okay.
this is how it looks like. Can you see?
Yes.
Can you see? When you load
Yeah.
it into that
We
computer,
used
you
to
are
do
seeing.
it in Azure.
He said
At least I've done few of this in Azure.
in
When it was
Azure, not Azure.
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 Azure. Why you
So
always pronouncing that thing like that?
that's the name now.
That's
It's
how to
not
pronounce
Azure.
it. Yeah, Azure. Okay.
Yes, now you can type it to Google and then ask Google to pronounce it for
So
you.
pronounce it.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Azure. Azure means a light sky blue.
Okay.
You understand? It's a light sky
Yes.
blue. It's a color now.
Yeah.
Mhm. So you understand. So now you know that this is a server man. So within this server OS, this is an operating system.
Yes.
So within this server OS, this is the server manager. You say you are a bit familiar with it now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's look at Linux server interface. Okay, so you know how so this one should scare you. Can you see it?
Yes. The CLI, the command.
Exactly. Well, for Linux, you see.
Okay.
So if you look at it, it's called a Ubuntu server. You can see that they put it Ubuntu server. Your Ubuntu is a type of Linux. So it can also be your OS. Like I said, there are two major type of your operating system, which is
Yes.
your Linux distributions
And
or your
Windows.
Windows. Okay, good. So I think I'm done with that foundation now. So let's
Yes.
move. We move. So now we want to learn how to administer your Windows server. Okay.
Sorry, what do you say, sir?
I'm showing you the platform, this thing. Can you see?
How to do what? I didn't
Are
hear
you not
you.
seeing my screen?
Hello.
Are you not seeing my screen?
Okay, I can see your screen. You said how to administer something.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, administering Windows server.
Okay.
Okay.
So now you are not afraid now. Now when you say Windows server, you now know what we are talking about.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So am I a good teacher?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have an earpiece?
Yes, I do.
I'll prefer you use an earpiece so that it's easier for you to hear me and then respond appropriately.
Okay, please.
So let me give you a minute to look for that earpiece. Just don't waste time.
Yeah.
Hello, Efosa. How are you today? Can you unmute?
Good evening, sir.
How are you today?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
I hope you are learning something new.
Yes, sir. I am.
All right. I hope this time is convenient for you.
Yes, sir. Just that
Okay.
there's no light.
Sorry?
So it's just NEPA.
Yeah, I understand. So anytime you're available, you just so the session is recorded. I will make sure you have access to it later. All right. So you can just mute. So but along the line, you just ask question, okay? Don't
Yes, sir.
be if you feel there's something you are not understanding, just ask question. There's nothing like I told you, if you're able to get this knowledge, it can, give you an edge later in life. You understand?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
So hi Naya.
Hi, I've done it.
Oh, it's like I can't hear you. Can you speak to your microphone?
Yes, I have. I've
Okay, good,
gotten the
good.
earpiece.
All right. Okay, good. So now welcome to the class administering Windows Server Hybrid Core Infrastructure. All right, so what are we going to be learning? Okay, let me just skip all of this. Let me skip all of this. Let me skip all of this. Let me skip all of this. Okay, so about this course, this is what you are going to be learning. You have okay, so you said a successful Windows Server administrator start this role with an experience on operating system. So you can see that you will be able to configure a Windows Server very well, that operating system. Then you will have the ability to learn virtualization, which is the latest technology now. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you will learn what we call cloud infrastructure. Okay, which is part of what I'm going to be taking you. You also learn
Okay.
storage infrastructure. Your storage are those data centers that I showed you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the structure of it. Then finally, what you're always loving to learn. What is that?
Networking.
So you can see. So now, experience with managing Windows Server operating systems, Windows Server workload on an on-prem scenario. So I was trying to explain what an on-prem scenario is for you the other time. So what's an on-prem? Now, like I said, you wanted to start Naya industry. So, and
Yeah.
your investors has given you multi-million-dollar project, and then you have your staffs, you have your factory running, and then you want to control all the computers or all the networking and security that is going on in your factory. So what you do is you build a small server room or a small data center. So when I say data center, you know what I'm talking about. I've shown you in the
Yeah.
image. So when I say server, storage server, you know what I'm talking about. You have seen it in the image. When I say
Yeah.
rack, you know what I'm talking about. So
Mm.
now those server controls all the computers, control the security, and control the networking within your company. So because they are in your company, maybe there's a particular floor that you put all those server. You saw those data center now. You know they are physical something in a particular place. So imagine you have one or two racks, okay, and then just let's say one or two racks that you are using in your company. So that is an on-prem. Why? The word on-prem means is within your premises. Do you get the idea? The server is there, the network is there, the racks are there, all those stuff are within your
So
premises.
that, sorry, what do you say it is? That means the server is within the premises.
Within your premises.
Okay.
You are the owner of the company now. You have offices now. So there's a particular floor in your office where you have kept all these machines, where you have kept your data center. What I mean by data center is your rack. You have a single rack. You can have, let's say, one or two single rack. It's a
Is my
company.
company using the single server or the rack?
Let assume you have a whole rack.
Okay.
Let assume you have a whole rack. So
Okay.
having a whole rack means that let assume you have a whole rack. So for clarity of purpose, so not this one. This is a standalone. So let assume you have something like this. How many rack is
Mm.
this? One, two, three,
3.
four.
Yeah.
There's another rack here. So let assume you have four rack. So this is your data center within, it will be in your floor. So that means you have a server room or a small data center. So you can see that
Mm.
there's a computer to control everything here. And then remember, I've showed you the networking wires, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then those wires, how they will move, from one place to another. Okay, so let's assume this is the back of your
Server.
rack, of
Rack.
your rack.
Yeah.
You can see the way it is being network and all of that. So let's just assume, just an assumption. So this one become an on-premises. The word on-prem, that is within your premises,
Premises.
your building, your company. You are the owner of it. Are you
Okay.
getting the idea? So now, because you are the owner of it, are you not going to hire somebody to work on in this place?
You hire somebody.
Who to hire network engineers?
Yes.
Then who to also hire somebody that will work on your server here, server
Server
administrator.
administrator. Yes.
You hire. Then you also do maintenance. What if some of these things are heated up and they got spoiled? You hire engineers that will come and replace them, right?
Of course.
Please, I want you to be responding fast so that we can move very fast. Okay. So you will hire
Mm.
engineer that will replace them, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now, because let's say in your company, you also run something like CUDA, like a finance, let's say you also do manufacturing, and then you now decide to move into microfinance, right?
Okay.
So that means you have an application and you now decide to build an app so that people can be doing transfer money to themselves, right? So
Yes.
do you want your server to be down by 9 o'clock and then put on your server by 8 o'clock in the morning? Would you want to use that
Mhm.
business model for your app?
No.
Why?
No. So that people can be able to transfer monies anytime they want.
I like you. You're a businesswoman. You like money so much. Do you understand? So now what happened? So that means your
Mm.
server must be on 247 because your application is on it. So that people can, even while they are sleeping, they can make transactions, right?
Ah,
Is
yes.
somebody yawning?
No, sir.
Please don't
Yes.
yawn. No.
Mm.
So do you understand? So which means that you must employ a guy that will work in the night,
Yes, of course. Night
just
shift.
like just like I'm doing night shifts. You understand?
But you're not
So
staying the whole night, sir. It's just 11.
uh, yes, I'm not staying the night actually. I'm not staying the night, but some other guys are staying the night. You understand? So because they also need to do some certain things. So you get the idea.
Mm.
So which means you must have guys that would run night shifts.
Do all
So
those
what?
things, yes.
So what if the system decide to, is a machine? Anything can happen by 2 a.m.
Of
Because
course.
so, imagine you want to make a call at 2
The
a.m. and your
machine.
MTN number is not connecting. What's you
Ah.
frustrate? Uh-huh.
Oh,
So all those
I
things
hate it. Frustrating.
exactly runs on the server. So that server must be on 247. So, but it's not easy to maintain.
Okay.
It's not easy to maintain because this server they generate a lot of heat. So you must put AC there.
Yes. Okay.
So imagine
What
this
about the standalone? It has to have AC too.
every the room everywhere. In fact, if you're able to do it very well, you do what we call a cooling system for it.
Okay.
A cooling system, but you might not. Let's just assume that this is what you have, these four components, but it will generate a lot of it. So AC like up to C7 AC will be in this place, so that it can
Ah.
cool down the yes now, even
Ah.
up to we are talking of central AC. So
Me,
imagine
I
the
know it's
amount
always the server room is always cold. Like
exactly it has to be cold. You understand? So that means that if any guy that is working in there, you must always provide tea for them. I'll be able to give them tea
mhm.
to be drinking. You understand? Okay, so do you get the idea of your on-premise server now?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It
So
is
when I
on
say on-premise now, you
premises.
know what it means now. On-premises. So now you know what it means. Okay, so within your on-premises, so they are saying you also learn Windows Server operating system, Windows Server workload within your on-premises scenarios. Scenario means that we don't have those things in place. We are just going to create something like that to make it look like this one that you are yawning to make it look like it is on-premises. Do you understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now we'll now also learn about ADDS, which is your Active Directory Domain System
Services.
services. You learn your DFS. You learn Hyper-V, which is for your virtualization. Okay. Then you also learn file and storage services. Okay. So also part of one of the things you're going to be learning also is experience and understanding of core networking. I know you would love to hear this one. Technology. Hmm. Such as your IP addressing. Of course, thank God you have not CCNA, so IP addressing should not be a problem. But you must also know how to do that one here too. Then you do your
Okay.
DNS, name resolution, then your DHCP, dynamics user configuration. See, amazing things, stuff you're going to be learning. Okay. So basic understanding of then Azure hybrid. Then will now take you to a higher level where you are going to be learning the hybrid technology. Hybrid means combining two things together. Hello.
Yes, yes. Combine two this together.
Two things. So here you are going to be combining. So imagine your workload here. Imagine your server here.
Okay.
Imagine this your server. Is in your company. Is on premises. You can do all your work
Yes.
here. But imagine you now decide to
Yes.
move part of your work into Azure premises. Azure into the cloud.
Okay.
So how do
Okay.
you manage your cloud plus your on premises? You understand? So if you are able to get this knowledge, man, you're about to become a millionaire because if you get opportunities are abound. Yes, I'm
Yes,
serious.
sir,
So
no.
yeah, you've made the right choice. You can see how I'm taking my time
Mm.
to teach you. You understand?
In the end, we'll come and bring wine to Mr. Dotton.
You do
Thank you,
what?
sir. I said, me and my mommy will come and bring wine to you. We say, thank you, sir. Your
Bring wine,
knowledge will
now
not,
money you
will
go
not
bring.
go down. I'm money, of course, now. And that was saved.
Uh, No problem, no problem. So I want to be sure, I want to be happy that okay, after you go into the training, then I mean something better will
Maybe
always come.
to.
Just trust me.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
okay.
just trust me about that. All right. So
Sorry.
always feel free to ask questions. Okay. Is there any question you want to
Okay.
ask at this point?
No, no, I'm fine. Good.
Okay. So now we move into, like I said, basic understanding of Azure hybrid technologies. Here, how
Yeah.
do you do your deployment? How do you manage your Windows Server, IaaS VMs? Your IaaS means your infrastructure as a service, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then
Virtual
your
machine.
Azure, yes, your virtual machine, then your Azure Active Directory. So then here you
Directory.
learn the difference between your Azure Active Directory and this one, this ADDF. This one is on-prem, while this one is in Azure. Okay. So lastly, you then also learn more about common Windows Server management tools. So what are the tools you need to learn the tools you need to learn, the tools that help you to manage your Windows Server. So we are looking at Windows Admin Center. Then we are looking at, of course, remember you mentioned command line the other time, you know, so which is also used for, Linux has its own, but for command line for Windows is Bash language. And then we also have Windows PowerShell. So, of course, one of the things you also learn is a Windows Server administrator are responsible for configuring and managing Windows Server on-prem, hybrid, and infrastructure platform.
Hybrid infrastructure.
Do you see how extensive this training is? So you just take your time and learn. Yeah, take your time
Okay.
and learn. So the rush about. So once we do this 2 hours, tomorrow we do it again, back to back. Except the day you are
Yes.
not, you are unable to do it. You understand? Because I
Indeed.
like it. I like the fact that 8 o'clock you joined and then we are doing this. So I like taking people that value time. So I'm happy that you value that time. Okay. So Windows Server Hybrid Administrator, you must learn how to deploy
Right.
packages, secure, update, configure Windows Server workload using on-prem, hybrid, and cloud technology. So a whole lot go into
You're going
this.
to you're going to teach
You
us all
also,
these things on these teams. Hello.
sorry.
You're going to teach me all these things on these teams.
Yes, I'm going to teach you.
Are you serious? Mm.
Yes,
Okay, sir.
I told you that time. I told you that time now. Or you don't know how much you are paying.
No, I
That was why
know,
I was
but
running after you now. Okay, you don't think you think it's not, it's too small, Abby?
never knew now. And I went to go and waste money in GIT. Like,
You see now.
and my
So do you
time.
know what to do? Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Okay,
Bring them.
okay. Of
Yes,
course.
bring them. I mean, you can see now. So okay, do you know that this session is
Yeah.
recorded? Even tomorrow, you can open it and go through. Oh, this guy said something. Okay, let me go through it. But in
How
GGIT,
do I
is it
go through
recorded?
it?
No.
Send me a link. What?
Don't worry. You're a special student. I told you, you put a premium on it, right? Remember when we were having that conversation? You put a premium on
Yes,
it.
sir.
So I told you, you're a premium student now. Yeah, you can see that you're the only one I'm taking. So yeah, so bring your other students, other friends. Let them know that see you have seen gold somewhere. Guys, come and take an opportunity of this training. You understand? So you can
No
see a
wahala.
whole lot I'm
Ah.
going to be taking you. You can see a whole lot. So then you learn how to configure Windows Server using from on-prem, then to hybrid, then to cloud. You can see. You can see that you are getting more than what you are bargaining for. Okay. Then you can also
Okay.
go through hybrid administrator implementing, manage on-premises and hybrid solutions. So you also learn about identity, security, management, compute, networking, storage, monitoring, and
Monitor.
high availability. So I want to institution once you finish this training, or more, you are hot as in fact, don't let me even
No.
just yeah, and I would love to meet your mom. I would love to meet your mom too.
So, yeah, she's on my
So
case. Serious.
then successful administrator
Baby.
start this role. Your mom, right?
Yes.
Mm, okay. So start with this role with
Okay.
experience on operating systems,
Okay.
virtualization, cloud infrastructure. So you can see what you're going to be learning: operating systems, virtualization, cloud infrastructure, storage structure, and networking. So okay,
Okay.
you don't need this one. Let me move. Okay, so this is how we go identity, implement identity, Windows Server administration, facilitating library management, Hyper-V, and then we'll move into deploy. All those things that we said, we have broken it in different directions. So you can see it's chapter by chapter. So once you learn one chapter, you can always go back and say, oh, wow, guy, I remember you said something about this chapter. You can see deploying and configure Azure VMs,
So
network
these are the
infrastructure
course out.
services. Yeah, exactly. These are the course outline. And you can see how the whole thing is looking the same. Implementing hybrid networking infrastructure, your file server and storage management in Windows Server, implementing a hybrid file server infrastructure. Good. Okay, so I think okay. All right, end of presentation. Okay, so let's so like I said, when it is 9 o'clock, you go for a 15 minutes break, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so module 1. So there are 10 modules, okay? In all those things I told you about, there are 10 modules. So we are starting with module 1, which is identity services in Windows Server. Okay. So here you are going to be learning how to manage ADDS as Active Directory Domain Controller and FSMO's rules. You learn how to implement group policy objects, then manage advanced features of ADDS. Okay, then now do a lab. Okay. So what is your ADDS? So here you are going to be dividing ADDS. So you said what?
What do you mean by do my lab? What is lab?
Lab means
Practical.
your hands-on approach.
Okay.
Do you have an Azure account, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. So now you're going to be signing into your Azure account. So since you have, do you still have an
Now,
active subscription?
I don't have no, but I don't understand what Mr. Amos did that time. He said we cannot use the same card, the same ATM for it. That we have to be changing ATM to renew the subscription. I don't understand.
So your okay, so
I
you don't
have
have
only
a
one ATM card. I don't have ATM
okay, so
cards.
okay, so you don't have subscription, right?
I don't have.
Okay, don't worry. Part of because remember you have paid for this training. So that is also
Okay.
covered. So I'm going to give you access to my own lab.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
understand. I'm going to give you access to my own lab, and then you'll be able to do the configurations and all those stuff you are talking, when
About
the time you get.
okay.
So
All right.
here you're going to be looking at ADDS, describe users, group, and computer, identify, describe ADDS forest and domain, describe who manage objects and their property in ADDS and all of that. Then do the knowledge check. So what is your ADDS? Your ADDS is composed of both logical and physical components. Okay, so it can be logical, whereby you have partitions, you have schemes, you have domain trees, forest, sites, OU, and containers. So the physical component can be a domain controller, data stores, global catalog server, or read-only domain controller. The arrows is read-only domain controller. Okay, so what's your partition? So it's a form of a naming contest. It's a portion of your ADDS database. Although the database consists of one file called ntds.dit, different partition contain different data. Okay, so your scheme is the set of definition of objects and attributes that is used to define your object that has been created in ADDS. So then you also need to understand what a domain is. Your domain is a logical administrative container. So imagine if remember you have a company, which is, let's say, Naya Industries.
Sorry,
So
but
your
please, sorry, can you come again? What do you see this partition means?
okay, so your partition is like when you are dividing your database into different areas. So, but it's a naming contest. So it's a portion of the ADDS database.
Okay.
So you can have different partitions. You can have one for file, you can have one for storage, you can have one for domain, you can have, do you understand? Different, different,
Yeah.
different, different, different partitions like that. Did you get? So you also have a schema. Your schema is a set of definitions of the object type. So your schema is saying that, oh, this is what I want my object to be. You understand? For example,
Sorry,
if you have a
can I
database,
see? Sorry, can I see an illustration of these things or something like an example?
you will see them when you get to the lab.
Okay.
You see
Okay.
them, but now you just need to cram this thing
Tell
so
me.
that cram it. Yeah, so you will see them.
Mm-hmm.
You will see them. You will know
You.
them. Mhm. So now, for example, you have a company called Naya Industries. So if you want to have a
Yeah.
website, your website will have a domain. Remember. So the domain name can be nayaindustries.com, right? It can be .org. It can be whatever. So that nayaindustry.com becomes the domain name. So what's your domain? It's a logical administrative container. So when you wear the word container, it's like where a whole lot of things are being put, arranged.
Okay. Like a storage.
Do you understand?
Storage.
Like a
Yeah.
storage. So within your domain, you can have users, you can have computers. You know, users are human beings.
Yeah.
You know, users are human beings. While your
Yeah.
computers are computers.
Yeah.
Users are human beings. Your computers are computer. So if you hire somebody into your Naya's industry, won't you give them ID card?
Sorry.
If you hire somebody into Naya industry, won't you give them ID card?
Yeah. Of course I will.
Won't you give them computer to work with?
Of course
So
I
what
will.
happens? Your IT will merge the user's information to that computer. So that when the person wants to
Okay.
sign in, the person will see his name. Oh, Ade.Ologun, and then say login, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So how that happens is your domain. You can see
Okay.
is your domain.
Yeah.
So look at this statement. Say a domain maps to a specific partition.
So a
Remember
specific part.
your partition is like a space portion within your ADDS
Yeah.
database. The ADDS is like
Database. Yeah.
the mother of all of them. But there is a particular partition called domain. So it maps to a specific partition, and you can organize this domain with like a what parent-child relationship with other domain. So you can have other domains
Okay.
relating to themselves, like a father and a child, like a parent and a like a parent and a child. That is, parent and
Yeah.
child means that if you have a domain A, other two domains, nisale, can be a subdomain of that main domain. That's what they mean by parent child.
Okay.
Like your daddy and your mommy, parents, they gave birth to 4 children. You two, you
Yeah.
gave birth to 2 children.
Yes.
But all of you are in the same, your family name. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So now, you also have what we call a domain tree, which is the hierarchical collection of domains. You know what I mean by hierarchy? Like a tree. Like
Like a tree. Yeah.
yes, your grandparents to your parents to you to
My
your
parents to
children,
me,
your
to my
children
grandchildren.
to your grandchildren. Do you understand? So you can also arrange your domain
Yeah.
like that. So how do we mean now? For example, you have nayaindustries.com. That can be the main domain. Then you can have you can have, you're also running, what's that name of that business we're talking about the other time that have app? Microfinance. So you can
Yeah.
also have microfinance.nayaindustries.com. Let's say you are
.com.
doing, which other business do you want to do?
NayaSeafood.com.
Now you can have seafood.nayaindustries.com. So can you see all those the naming
Okay.
system now? So they become like a
Yeah.
tree. But all of them that see under that main company, that group of company
Domain.
called, do you get the idea now? Okay.
Yeah.
So now he said a domain tree is an hierarchical collection of domains that share a common root domain. So the common root domain will now be that the name of the company, which is nayaindustries.com.
Naya.
So under the non-Naya industries, you have the seafood, you have the delivery, you have
The finance.
the microfinance. Do you understand the idea? Nana? So under your microfinance,
Yes.
you can have, let's say, lending. You can have, all those. You can have lending. You can have
Yeah.
some other things. So
Okay.
now look at forest. A forest is a collection of one or more domain that have a common ADDS root, then a common schema. Now go back to your schema. What is your schema? A
Set
set
of
of
definition.
definition of your object type. Now, what is a set of definition? Have you seen an Excel sheet that have people's information before?
Yeah. Yes. Information like age, name, date of
Exactly.
birth,
Yeah.
address. Okay.
Yeah. Just a minute. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute, please.
Mm, What was it telling? Tell me now. Meaning, I don't understand. He doesn't know what energy saving is. Who said that?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, good. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. So now you understand what a domain tree is now. So
Yes.
then we've gone to forest. Forest is a, a collection of one or more domain. You have all those domains now. Then they have a common root, a common schema, and a global catalog. Okay. So let's go to organizational units.
Okay.
So an organizational unit, your whole U means organization unit. It's a container. All of them are like container partitions and container container objects for users. So you can have for example, in your industries, you have different departments, right? You have HR, you have IT,
Yes, yes.
you have admin, you have
Yeah.
which other department would you have? Maybe technical units, maybe packaging units,
Mm.
maybe you understand
Marketing unit.
marketing, sales, and all of that. So those ones are called organizational units. All those people that are working in those units, you put them together as users, right? Put them
Yeah.
together as group. Then you put all their computers together too. You get the idea. So
Yes.
and then that one provides a framework for you to delegate administrative rights and administration by linking GPUs. Let me explain that. Okay, so everybody that works in the marketing, you put them together like a department within your server. Everybody that works in HR,
Mm.
put them together. Everybody that works in marketing. So now, do you know there's some files and
Mm.
informations that all these people are working together have access to? Now, would you want everybody in your workplace to have access to what account is doing?
No.
Why?
Sir?
Would you want everybody that works in your organization to have access to what your finance department is doing?
No,
Why?
of course not. So that all those kind of things are private.
And sensitive.
Okay, so that nobody will steal money or something.
Okay, good. So now,
Mm.
so when you put all those information together, that group, you now apply what we call group policy objects to each of them. So that even if they see a file coming from account, if their name is not in the if they don't have the administrative rights, they won't be able to see what is in there.
No, it's inside. Okay.
You get?
Is it like a password and username something?
Not really. Like, it looks like it, but you know you are within a server and within an organization. So it's like when you create this group, you say anything that is it puts inside this group. I want only these people to see it.
Mm.
I want only these people to have access to it. So you now apply what we call a GPO on it. You apply a policy on it. So it's that policy that will block any other person out.
Okay.
Even if you put your password, you say, sorry, you don't have administrative rights. Access. Okay. Then you have
Okay.
then you have what we call a container. So a container is an object that provides organizational framework for use in ADDS. So you can use a default container, to create custom container, and then you can also link it to the GPU. Okay, so now, of course, you wired Jane Doe. This is how a user is. So look at all this information. So here you can create user objects. The user accounts include the username, the user password, and a group membership. The user accounts include the username, the user password, and a group membership. Remember what they mean by group membership. Your organization. Hello.
So what do you say the group membership is, sir?
This is it.
Okay, the GPO.
Organization unit. So whatever you want them to do, you effect that action by what?
Creating group GPO.
Exactly. You get the idea.
Okay.
So this person now, if you hire somebody now, you create a username account for the person, right? You create a password for the person, which the person will go and change later, Abi. So you now have to put the person into a group now. I mean, if you hire me, you hire me to a department. Like I said, your department will be different group, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So now look at this. You see the account. Look at the first name. Look at the last name. Look at the full name. So this is how the person you will log on. Jane at kotoso.com. Let's say Jane at nayaindustries.com, right? That is your domain name. You understand? So look at password option. Okay, you are saying this account. Does this account expire? No, because it's still working with you, Abi.
Okay.
But if you happen to be a contract staff, what will you pick?
End of.
Eh?
I'll pick end of.
And then you put the date.
And put the date.
So can you see? So if the person contract ends in 1 year, you put the date. If the person comes a day after 1 year, what will happen to the person's account?
It will be closed. So you don't have rights.
Will the person log in your complaint?
No, the person can't log in.
Exactly. Do you need to imagine you have 1,000 or 3,000 staffs? Do you need to be running after somebody that is expired or not expired?
No.
You now stand in the gate. Oh, it's like your account is about to expire tomorrow. Don't come here again.
No.
Is that what you're going to be doing? Can you see where exactly? Can you see? So what type of system does that? What's it called?
The
server.
Okay, the server.
Server. because you are
Okay.
learning server now. And that was a very simple question now. You are learning server now. So do you understand the idea now? So look at the password option. It says user must change password at next leg on. You just hire this person.
Yeah.
So password option. If you pick this one, you say user must change password. So if you hire somebody and you have given them a laptop, you want them to log in, you can say, okay, I don't want to know your password. Oh yeah, you can change your password by yourself.
Mm.
Do you understand the idea? So if you pick the first one, you
Yes.
say change your password by yourself. Then see, but based on this one, he said you can use smart card. Like at work now, where I'm working right now, this is what we use, smart card.
Okay.
Without this smart card, we can't sign in. I'm telling you. You can see it's a card. It look like ATM card. They printed our name. They printed our code. They
Okay.
printed the whole lot
Okay.
directly from Microsoft. In fact, I can't bring it out
Okay.
of my workstation. I'm telling you. They
Okay.
collect it. Our manager collects it from us once we sign in straight because it's sensitive information. You understand?
Yeah.
So this is one. So then you can also choose this one that says password never expires. That is, the person doesn't need to change the password. You just keep using the password.
This is password can
You
expire.
understand? You understand? So different options.
Mm.
So you can choose this one that says user cannot change password. This one, now only you the administrator that can change password.
You can change it. Okay.
Now only you. You understand? So can you
Okay.
see other organizations, so can you see how to define user object now? So all of these ones now, all of these ones can be put in an Excel sheet. Abi? That can be like
Yes.
first name, middle
First
name,
name,
last
last
name, password option. Do you understand the idea? So that's why
name.
they call it like an object. It's created like an object for you. You understand? So if I go back here, that's where you see something like your partition is saying something like, see, a naming context is like a portion of your ADDS database. Can you see it's like a database? So all those things you are creating is part of a database. You understand? So can you see your
Yes.
schema? Your schema is saying a set of definition of the object type. What is you have set the definition? Can you see? So if I go back here now, you cannot. Can you put something you have not defined here? Did you see house
No.
address here? Do you see
No.
house
No.
address
No.
here? You
No.
cannot put house if it's instead of middle name initial, if you put house address, it's wrong. Or phone number.
Yes.
You can see.
Yes.
So your schema, that's what your schema means. Your schema has already defined this. You
Everything.
understand?
Okay.
Everything. Okay. So
So,
the
this user
yes.
account for is when you want to administer a network server, right?
Sorry?
Abi, this user account is for what, please?
Is for, let's say you have hired a new person
Okay.
and then you
Okay.
need to give him, if you have hired somebody, remember we are talking about a company
You need
and
to
we
add the
continue to talk
person
about
to
it
a
from the
workforce. Okay.
exactly, to add the person to the
Okay.
workforce, to your network. But you
Okay.
do all those things in the server. But don't worry, it's just for you to know. So when you start
Okay.
working on this, you will understand.
So all
Just
these
open your mouth.
ones,
So
I'll
it's
be
now,
doing it in the server.
yes, you will still do it in the
Oh,
server.
oh.
All
All
right.
right, sir.
So it's 9 o'clock. Let's go for maybe 10 minutes break. Let's go for
All
10
right.
minutes break. Okay. So we'll be back 9:10 or 9:12.
9:13. 9.
Hi guys. Hello.
Sure. Hi, sure.
Oh, okay. Let me check. Okay, just a minute. Just give me a minute. Let me try and reach out to the other person.
Wait, sir.
Hello, Efosa, are you still there? Hello, Efosa, are you there? Hello, Efosa, are you there? Can you hear me, Efosa? I can't hear you. Problem. So what's happening? You are welcome back, Naya. You're welcome back. I I guess it was a technical itch. So
Yeah, I was trying to.
all right. So let's just go back to our training. So Naya, can you hear me? Kindly confirm if you can hear me.
Hello.
Can you hear me now? Kindly confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So we were here where where we were defining user objects, and then how this user object can be used to our advantage, as an IT administrator for a particular company, and then where we need to determine the schemas and the domains and the organizational units. So all of them can be put in a container. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, so also you can also define the group object. Remember, here we're looking at the user object. Remember, now we are defining the group object. I've explained what the group object is to you the other time. And like I said, the group object will be like maybe your department within your organizations, or different groups, different teams, You understand? You can have different teams. Maybe your marketing teams, your sales teams, or you can have your strategic team. For example, your strategic teams can cut across different departments, right? You understand? You can have a thing called managers. Do you get? So if you look at it now, so there's a particular group that has been created. If you look at this group, so this group will have somebody that will manage it. Okay. Then there are members within this group. Do you understand? So we have a member. Do you understand? So a member is a member of your organization. Please speak up. I cannot hear you. Or maybe you should check your mouthpiece.
Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, so what's your group object? What does it stand for? What's the usefulness of your group object? Number one, it stands for security. So you have group types that are meant for security, and then also meant for distribution. Okay. So what do I mean by security? Remember what I said about something about organizational, your OU, your organizational
Unit.
unit rather. Yes.
Mm.
I told you something
GPO.
about GPO. Good. Your GPO serve as a security. So it bounce back people that are not a member of that OU. Do you understand? So that's what they mean by security. I want you to understand that. That's what they mean by security in this place. Then you also have distributions. For example, you want to create an email list. you know,
Okay.
like an email list or email blast where everybody within the organization can get the information at once. So you put them in distributions. You understand the idea? So
Okay.
now let's look at this group. This group is called sales manager. So it means that anybody that qualifies to be a sales manager will be a member of this group. So look at the group name, sales manager. Okay, of course. Now it's created in an organization
This
unit
group is only for
called,
sales manager.
sorry,
The group is only for sales managers, right?
do you understand? Yes. So
Yes.
now
Okay.
you have a big complaint. So that means you have managers in different areas. Let's say you have his area manager, sales area manager in Ikotun, one for Ikeja, another one for VI. You understand what I mean? Why? Because they are marketing teams. All of
Yeah.
them are other marketing teams, right? All of them are other marketing teams. But
Yes.
you have a whole lot of them. Because each teams will have managers, let's say sales manager, but they're all selling for you. You understand? But all those managers, you want to put all of them in one group. You understand?
Okay.
Want to put all of them, you can see. So you can name the group as sales manager. Let me. So you see, you can pick them as sales manager. Okay. So
Mm.
see where this
Yes.
group is. So look at the type of the group is security. Can you see? Like I said, security.
Yes.
Then we have what we call
Yeah.
group scope. Scope means local. So there are different scopes. Scope means the extent at which you want this operation to be local,
Okay.
domain local, global, universal.
Oh,
Later, you will begin to understand this one later as our training goes by. Okay.
okay.
Local, domain local, global, universal. But local means that, okay, within the local group, so their influence cannot go beyond this local group. Their influence cannot go beyond the domain, a particular domain. And remember, you can have different domains in your Active Directory, right?
Yeah.
Remember, you can have different domains. So then global means that this person will be in different domains. Universal means that this person, anybody in universal, we have access to everything within the group.
Okay.
You understand the idea? Okay. So now, so the security type, the group type is security, and then the group scope is global. You understand? Why? Because global might means that maybe as a sales manager, there will be other groups that you would have opportunity to have access to what they are doing. You know what I mean? Because he's a manager,
Yeah.
they will have ability to have access to other group. You understand?
Yeah.
Then look at this create in organization unit because IT. They've created an organization unit. They name it IT. Then they have a domain controller called Contoso and another domain controller called .com. Don't worry, you understand all this one later. Okay?
Okay.
You understand them later. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
we have 30 more minutes for this training so that we just maximize our time so that you've
Fine.
learned one or two things. Mm,
Okay.
all right. So now let's define computer objects. Let's define computer objects. Your computer are security principles. So what do you mean by security principles? They serves like an individual that they need to verify their authentications anytime anybody want to
Any
access
day.
them. Are you are you with me? Or
Yeah. You said any you want to verify their identifications anytime, any day. Abi? Hello. Hello. Hello.
This is from your buzzing. I don't know what's going on. I don't hear from them.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello? Okay. Hello?
Hello, can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes. Well, it's not on the screen yet. Okay,
How
I
about
see.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, I lost you for a moment there. I
Okay.
lost you for a moment. Okay, so I was trying to explain what your security principles are. So you will need to authenticate with them before anybody will have access to it. That's what they mean by security principle. You understand? So computers are security principles. That is, they have an account with the sign-in names and password. That's you know already, right? Then
Yes.
they authenticate with the domain. Remember, so before your computer can now sign in, your server that carries your domain, which is, you know what I mean domain,
Yeah.
it means nayaindustry.com, that
That's
carries
com.
your domain
Mm.
must see it as a member of his domain.
Okay.
You understand? So what's the meaning of domain? Remember kingdom. You know the word
The
called kingdom.
parents name, like
Mm.
the head.
The word called kingdom. So if you say
Yes,
this is
I
my
do.
kingdom, you are a king
Mm.
over a domain.
Okay.
Do you get the idea now? Kingdom. If you say
Yes.
this is my kingdom, so that means you are a king or a queen over a domain. So
Domain.
kingdom means a king domain. Who there enters my domain, your area, the area where you have influence. Do you understand
Yeah.
the idea now? The area where you have
Yes, sir.
influence. Okay, good. So
Mm.
your Naya Industries is
Okay.
a domain. NayaIndustry.com. That .com makes it a domain. That is area where you have influence. So you can have a network. So anything
Okay.
within your network is under your control. You're under your influence. Like
Yeah.
everybody in the kingdom is subjected to a king, right?
Yes.
So in this case, the king is the server. So the server
Okay.
controls so it controls your computers, it controls your network, it controls your security, it controls, you understand all those stuff. So it controls. So when we're not talking about security principles now, we're talking about an object, for example, your computer, that needs to authenticate before it enters into that kingdom. You understand? It's like you are coming from a, if you want to enter UK now, they ask for your passport. Where are you coming from? You understand? You need to
Yeah.
identify yourself.
Most
That
of.
is what they identify. You now go and authenticate you to validate. Authenticate means they want to validate that you are truly a Nigerian.
Actually
Or let's say,
Nigerian.
you were born in the UK, you have UK passport and all of those stuff, and your parents came to Nigeria, and then you want to go back, but you are black.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But you are born there. You have all their books, all their passport and everything. They will first of all go and
Passport.
authenticate. Authenticate means they want to validate that truly
Verify.
you were born here. So they will now ask you to come in. So they will ask for your password. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Ask you to come in. So that, but at the moment you enter UK, everything, every law that is in the UK, you abide by
Yeah.
it. True or false?
True.
So would you say you want to carry your car pass one way because you are from Nigeria?
No, nah.
So that is your group policy object.
Okay.
Can you see that the moment you enter UK, that Nigerian mentality will be automatically will be formatted.
I,
You go comply sharp sharp.
I swear. Sharp,
Do
sharp.
you understand? So you go there for
Done.
street, you go chop gala, you go throw the paper for ground, right? For UK. You
No.
understand? So can you see what we call group
Oh,
policy object now? Group. You know, UK people are
yes.
group. All of them are group people as in. So you can see how that law is abiding them. So that's what your GPO does. It enforces those. Do you get the idea now? So, but before
Laws. Yeah.
anybody enters to UK, United Kingdom, they ask for some certain authentications. So that's how your computer and some other things behaves too. So they have an account. So account means that you are born from UK, Abi. Just like the way you were giving this person name, remember, account, Jane. Remember now. So this person has an account. Then he has a sign-in names and password. Then your server will now.
Hello? Hello? Oh, baby, this is my mess, eh? The body is to clean this fridge, please.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello, yeah,
Can you hear me, please? Okay, so
I can
can
hear
you
you
see
now.
that Jane must be verified against this domain? Look at this domain. Can you see?
Okay.
Please,
Contoso.com.
I need you to concentrate,
Contoso.com.
please. It's very. Please tell your boyfriend to just leave you till 10 o'clock. I will be cool.
Okay.
So you understand? So he has
Okay,
to.
sir.
So you need to verify Jane against. Can you see the
Contoso.com.
Contoso.com? So instead of Contoso.com, what will your own be? It will be NayaIndustries.com, right?
.com. Yeah.
You get the idea. So that's what he's trying to say here. So they authenticate with the domain, and then they can now belong to a group and have access to resources. Do you understand? So that is a user. The same thing, you can do that for a user, but you can also do that for a computer. You understand?
Okay.
So your computer name can be whatever. It can be Naya Computers, it can be My Computers, it can be whatever names you have given it. So you can see that there's a computer name. Do you know how to rename your computer?
Device, like normally, sir. Is it on server
Okay,
or
don't
just
worry.
on your system?
On your system.
Yes.
Even if you don't know how to rename it, by the time you join a computer to a server, it will automatically give it a name. You understand?
Okay.
So you can see that this computer is put in an organization called IT. It's inside the domain controller called Contoso. I know your own domain controller. So your domain controller. So there's a domain. You know, there's a domain. Then there's a controller.
Yeah.
So you can have different domain. Then you must have a DC that will control everything. So that means you can promote a server to become a domain controller.
A server. Okay. So
Yes.
what will be my domain controller now? Naya Industries.
Yes. Can be NayaIndustries.com. You know what I'm trying to say now. Okay, good.
Okay.
Or group default domain admin. This is the group that this computer has been put into. So they can change it here.
Okay.
You understand? So, but he's saying this above user or group can join this computer to a domain. So because it's in this person can do some certain things. So he's saying assign this computer account to, you don't need this one. So do you get? So now remember we were talking about your domain the other time as an hierarchy, parent and child. Remember?
Yes, I remember.
As an hierarchy, parent and child.
Yes, I remember.
So active ADDS domain is a logical container for managing users, computers, group, and object. You can see that this one does not have stories. You must understand it.
Okay.
So your Active Directory domain system, what does it do? It's a server on its own that manages what? Your user. It manages what? Computers. It manages what? Group. It is this group your group is composed of computers and users, Abi,
Yes.
because you can create group for computers too. You understand? So your ADDS domain is often described as, just a minute, let me check if this guy, yeah, guys. So your ADDS domain is often described as a replication boundary or an administrative unit. As you can see, it's like a boundary.
Sorry, please. You said the computers are in the groups, right?
What is it?
You said the computers are in the groups, right?
I did not
Then
say the computer are in the group.
the
I'm saying that you have users. Let's say you have hired people. You have 1,000
trying
staffs.
to get what you
They
were
have
saying.
users. Listen to me now. Just concentrate. You need to concentrate. You have hired 1,000 staffs, right?
Okay.
All of them will have computers they are using.
Of course.
Uh, Then you have what we call group. I've explained your group to you. Your group can be your users. For example, your managers. You can have group of managers, right? Group of
Okay. Yes.
marketers, right? Sales department, IT
Strategic
department,
business
HR
groups.
department. Do you understand?
Uh,
So I'm now saying that in your HR department,
yes, yeah.
you can put human beings there as a group, right? Human beings, which are your users in HR department, in marketing department,
Okay.
in sales department. I'm also saying that you can
Yes.
create a group. You can create a group whereby the only thing you have there are computers.
Hmm. Okay.
Do you understand?
Instead
Do
of
you
instead
understand?
of human beings.
Yes. You can also create a group whereby you have both computers and human beings.
And human beings. Okay. Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes. So can I ask how do we do that for the computers?
That one is in the lab now. When you get to lab,
Okay, I just want to know is that you just differentiate it. Differentiate say this one is for so group,
you will
the
know now.
computers.
When you open a group, there's a sign that look like a human head. You know it's human being. There's a sign that look like a computer. You know it's computer.
The computer. Okay.
Do you understand? So you don't need to.
Okay.
Though then, based on your own naming conventions, you will know why you have grouping computers together to work together because you want a group policy to affect them. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Coming. Okay, let's take about 2 more slides and then we'll be done for today.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at your ADDS forests. We're trying to look at forest the other time. It's not the bush. When you say forest, it's not bush. You understand?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he said a forest is a top level container in ADDS. So when you hear containers, they are like, you know what a container is like, different
Yeah.
partitions, different. You've grouped them into. You've created this. It's like you have a building. There are different rooms. So a room becomes a container. You understand? So there's one for users. There's one for group. There's one for all those things we measure schemas, different ones. So for your forest, your ADDS forest often described as security boundary. It's also a replication boundary, just like your users, your ADDS, just like this one that we look at, your ADDS domain, So
Yeah.
your forest too. Now, what's the difference? Now, look at what we call trust relationship. Your trust relationship provide access to resources in a complex ADDS environment. Now, this is a domain.
Okay.
This is another domain. This is another domain.
Okay.
So look at Contoso. Contoso is a forest root domain.
Okay.
This is another root domain. But this is a child domain to Contoso. Can you see? This one is saying Seattle.Contoso. That is, this is a branch of this company name, right? So
Yeah.
Seattle is a city. You understand? So that means they can have different child domain for different cities. But this sign is showing what we call a trust relationship. That is, when there's a trust relationship is created, this Contoso can communicate to this Adatom, and this Contoso can communicate to this. You understand? There's a trust relationship.
Okay.
Can you see? Between each domain. You said?
There's a trust relationship between all of them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what that trust relationship does
What does it mean? Okay. It does. Okay.
is provide access to resources in these different, but all of them are under the same ADDS.
Okay.
Do you understand? All of them are under the
Okay.
same Active Directory domain. Do you get the gist now?
Yes, I do.
Exactly. So let's look at organization units. So this is how your server looks like. Can you see? Active Directory, users, and computer.
And computers.
So we're going to be stopping here tonight because of our time. Yeah, so as in after explaining what I know. So look at this diagram very well. Can you see Active Directory? That domain system, domain services. See everything under it. So can you see your contoso.com? This is the root domain. Forest root domain. Can you see? Can you see why you can see that if I don't show you this picture, you might not be able to grab.
To understand it, yeah.
Is it?
So which one is the true root domain?
What is it?
Which one is now the tree roots? Is it the king of this domain? The tree
You
of
can say
this
this one can be like the
adaptation.com.
king. No, this
Okay, the
is the
forest
main
root
root.
contoso.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You
So
get
which
the
one is
idea.
now the tree roots? What was the job? I don't understand.
See, like I said, what they are trying to say is that you can have different domain in an ADDS.
Okay,
If
under
you
the
have a building,
main domain.
if you have a
Okay.
building, if you have a whole building, can't you have up to 4 flats?
Of course, of course.
So in different 4 flats, that means you have 4 families in one building. True of us.
Yeah. So maybe I was thinking maybe this contoso will be the first one now. Like it should be the first one, then tree roots, then child. That's what I'll be able to understand.
This is the child for a contoso. But you can see that
So the
this and
adaptation
this
is what?
seems to be in the same level. You understand? They seem to be in the same level. Like it's a different business entirely. So you have Naya Industries here, and then you have Naya Shoes here.
Okay.
But you don't want them. You don't want this to be under this. This can stand on its own. This one can stand on its own. Yes. So which means that Naya Industries, we have biscuit industry, we have biscuit does Nayas, we have Fanta does Naya, we have this does. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do you get? So meanwhile, you want one server, just one server to control all your domains. That's what they are trying to tell you. Because you can have, but one domain must be promoted to become the DC, the domain controller. One domain, which this Contoso is doing.
Okay, sir.
You get the idea?
Yes, I get.
Okay. So we have 5 more minutes All right. So now let's define organizational units. Now, like I was trying to let you know, you see active directory users are computers. So
Okay.
this is your contoso.com. So you can see
Okay.
this sign is a server. So it's telling you this is the main server. You are breathing inside that.
Oh, sorry.
You are breathing inside it.
Sorry.
Okay, so this is the main server. So you can see that inside the domain, you have what we call your computers.
Yes.
You understand? Then you have what we call your domain controllers.
Yes.
Then there's an organizational unit called IT.
Okay.
You understand? So you have another one. Look at the logo. Can you see the way it looks like? You have another one called research. Another you call research. You have another one called sales. Can you see? So inside your computers now, these are the computers that have been joined to this domain.
Okay. The PCs.
Can you see? Can you see them now? So once you look at this logo, you know they are computers, Abi.
Yes. The PCs.
So
Okay.
yes, the PCs, yes. You can see it said type computer. If it is a
Computer.
user, human being, it will put it there,
Use.
human. But this has been automatically defined that anything that is computer, it will put them here.
Okay.
So if you scroll down here, there's a user here too. User here, down here.
TPM device.
So I said no, scroll down as in
User.
after TPM.
Okay.
Okay, see user, see it.
Users. Okay.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes.
So if you click on
Yes, sir.
users, you see all the staffs or people that are attached to all this computer.
Yes.
You get
Yeah.
okay. So your user container use containers to group objects within a domain. So now you know the objects can be computers, can be users, right? So
Yes.
you use this container called computer to group all of this. You use this
Okay.
container called IT to group maybe all the staffs within IT department. You use
Okay.
this container to group all people that are in sales. Do you understand the idea? This is a simple idea.
Yeah.
So then
Yes.
you now apply your GPU to the container. You cannot, okay, you're saying you cannot apply GPU to containers, but containers are used for systems objects and as the default locations
For
for
new
new
object.
users. You cannot
New
apply
object.
GPU to containers, but you can apply GPUs to organization units.
Okay.
Do you
Please, can
understand
you
what I'm trying
explain
to
it,
say?
sir?
Yes.
I don't, sir. Please explain it.
Read what is there.
I've read it, but I don't understand. Why can't you put it as to containers? At least the containers contain the
You said?
users. Why can't you apply GPUs to the containers?
Yes, because they are defaults by their defaults. So GPUs are something you yourself need to configure by yourself. There are
Okay.
policies you need to configure. So if you now need to configure a policy, you now create what we call an OU to say, okay, for IT, you can see the design. Look at this folder. This folder does not, can you see that there's a difference between all the folders? Can you see?
Yes, I'm seeing something inside one
Uh-huh.
box, and I'm not seeing inside another.
Exactly. So those ones that you are seeing something inside the one box, they are the OUs, organization users, organization
Okay.
units rather. Those ones that
Mhm.
does not have anything inside them, they are the containers. Those containers
Containers.
are defined. They came pre-built.
Default.
They
Okay.
came pre-built. So you can see there's a built-in, there's computers, there's keys, there's managed service accounts, there's
Lost
program
and
data,
found.
there's system, there's users. So they are pre-built. So this other one that you are seeing, they are the one you as a person will now create called organization unit. So you can see you can configure objects by assigning GPUs to them.
GPUs
You
today.
can delegate administrative permissions. Okay, so we are going to be starting from here
Okay.
tomorrow, right?
Okay.
So don't let us miss our class. Oh. It's
Okay.
very
Like
important.
this.
So I'm going to be.
I have to.
You
I'm
said
using my guy's laptop. I'm using my guy's laptop. I need to install it on my own. I don't know. He's saying that I can't install it. That his own came with the system. So I don't know whether
you mean
there's a link you
Teams?
can help me. Yes. So in case